I remember when I was a kid, my mother had these lamps on both end tables in the living room.
Come on, girl.
Keyword had because they didn't last long. Story short, they may have fell a few times. And then I would try to smooth things over with my well-crafted I'm sorry lines. And even though she knew I really meant it, she sure enough was not hearing it. In an effort to make things better, I would try to use a hot glue gun like I was fixing it, shifting it so the side that was the worst would be facing the wall, hoping that no one would ever discover the side that was flawed. Only making visible the best parts became an art form to me, like a Shakespearean piece, beautifully crafting a masterpiece out of tragedy, because in reality, that's the only way that you and I could survive, to find the good in the chaos, the light in the dark. Without this mentality, we would fall apart, breaking like the lamps, gathering the pieces to piece our lives to make a cohesive representation of what whole again looks like. And if you've ever been broken, restoration of the old version of yourself never quite returns to its original form. Heart so cold when it used to be warm. So much love and light in your eyes at one point in life, to now not even fireworks can make that spark ignite. Just a fight on how you are trying to fix you, but you are not the potter, but yet beautiful moldable clay. And restoration only comes from a father that doesn't restore you to the same. Instead, he creates a new thing. Old things are passed away, but you'd rather stay burdened with these broken parts of you, with the same idea that these parts can be glued back together, shifted to expose the good side, while we hide the cracked parts. Because eventually, the hurts that were tethered to your heart starts to ooze through the cracks of your brokenness. People think they're random tears about nothing, so they tell you to get over it. But they don't know what it is to feel like you can't get back to your joy or your happiness. Just masking it, never getting to the root of where the source of your pain is. It either makes you angry or it makes you emotionless, with the hopefulness that somebody someday could see beyond the facade and see that you're not okay, that you're so desperate for a touch of God's grace, that something good will happen today and you'll see a glimpse of God's face. Believe me, I know I prayed those same prayers and tried not to show that the weight of the things that I've gone through is trying to pull me down. I remember crying out in the nighttime with songs by Kirk Franklin, asking God, like, can you hold me now? And if you could please let this cup pass from me. I was desperately in need of his peace. I couldn't see that he was grooming me. A beautiful rose doesn't just bloom, it needs a little dirt to grow. And we do too. I had to trust to know that if he had me there, then there is where he purposed me. This is the way that it was always supposed to be. Your life could have been millions of possibilities, like how it is in an Avenger movie, but there is no Doctor Strange who can change, shift, and bend time for you. Your life has always been in line with what God designed you to do. He knew the day, time, and place where you had to be. And I marvel at the thought that he never changed through the ups and downs. He was always there reminding me that these are the moments that a diamond gets made. It's in the rough. And the intensity of the pressure washer gets rid of the grind and the muck. What you see as hardship is really just toughening you up. Perspective makes a difference. Take for instance, on how I was talked about, on how I was too big, or how dark the pigment is of my skin. I could have gave in to the pressure, but I took those comments and decided not to be bitter, but better. I would have never had the kind of confidence. I would have never had the kind of confidence if I didn't have the cognizance to realize that my calling is to spread this message of self-love to the younger ones that need the encouragement. Instead of them being on socials nitpicking every part of them. Then I took the absence of a father, started writing this poetry at a young age. It was like a form of therapy to me. Now I'm on stage helping others get saved and set free from the days you spent in resentment of a man who probably never knew his father too. Then to be confused and abused by a girl who called herself family. I took my testimony and helped so many people understand that what happened to you is not your not shameful and dirty. Pick your head up and see yourself as worthy. See, you have been searching for far too long, looking for ways to heal. Drown the pain in the alcohol. Smoke all you can. Pop all the pills. But God gave you the tools to help you heal. Your gifts are not just by happenstance. He gave you the ability to dance so you can move the pain through your body. He gave you an angelic voice so you can sing the songs of freedom like Paul and Silas. You take splotches of paint, creating a masterpiece, painting pictures of hope. You soak up knowledge like a sponge and use your gift to educate the new generation, not with just curriculum, but with some mental health in Jesus, leading us in the fight to be unison, just as God wants us to be, because it is His will that we be in peace. And what I tried to convey in this piece was, despite how you feel, you've got to heal those traumas before they kill you. You've got to move, even when you feel like you can't bear to walk any longer. After you've endured an injury that affects your walk, during the rehabilitation process, every step only makes you stronger. The longer you sit in your pain, the more you miss the little things that God does to aid us in our healing. And healing is that feeling when you float on the water. It's that warmth you feel when you hear that note that they hit from the choir. That smile that comes across your face when you look at your son or your daughter. When you let the rays of the sun hit you on the beach and the sand caresses the crevices of the toes on your feet. It is the closing of your eyes to hear the nation, letting the wind hit you on your skin. Amends being made between your brother, making up for lost years. Letting the tears go at the beautiful sight of your city light in the night. A plane taking flight with clouds out your window. The glow of the cell phone lights flickering in the stadium as you all sing in unison. One-on-one basketball games between a father and a son. Late night ice cream runs with your mom. Coming home to a house that's not chaotic but calm. In Psalms 147:3, it says, He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. So with everything that you notice, God is showing you that He consumes more and more of that hurt that you've held on to. When you fix your perspective to not be bitter, but to have gratitude with where He has you. He died to save a woman like me and a man like you. The same way you had to pick up your cross and endure abuse, it was to break the generational curses off of the family and these youth. Truth is, you're going to go through. And I pray that you have the wisdom to remember, despite the hard times, you've got to keep spreading this message with clarity, that you can live in truth, thrive in peace, and have prosperity. The enemy has desire to keep you bound with these past traumas, stuck in a place where you don't want to be. But it is God's will that you be in peace and that you may find healing in transparency. Thank you.